Wow, it's been so long since I sat in front of a camera like this. Happy New Year, everyone. Taryn, Allyssa here. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute since I sat and just like talked to the camera, so here we go. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you some life updates as well as my vision board for 2021. But before we hop into the video, don't forget to like if you're feeling the video already, comment if you have any thoughts, and subscribe if you're down for the ride. Okay, let's get into the video. So we haven't really checked in this format since like mid-July. We are obviously still mid-pandemic, and so similarly to the last video I did like this, I'm going to pop through the months, give you a few brief updates of things that have happened, then we'll get into the vision board. In August, I had my first little staycation, my first trip since COVID hit. I just needed to get away, so Bashan and I did a local trip and stayed in an Airbnb. And of course, I vlogged it, so you can check that out up above. And if you're interested in learning more about how I maintain safe travel, I also have a blog post on that, and I'll link that too. I also turned 29 in August, which sparked a little bit of a quarter life crisis, I guess. No, crisis is a strong word. But it did have me thinking about some things I wanted to get off my bucket list over the next few months before I hit the big 3-0. By September, virtual learning was in full swing, so my job officially hunkered down and kind of accepted the new climate we're in, so we're doing a lot of virtual programming, but we also are still able to house students during the day who are unable to access their school day at home, and things are forever changing, still really positive, and our goal is just to help keep students in the game, and I'm just glad that I'm still able to be a part of that right now. Something random that came from September also is just that I discovered the beauty of daily walks. Starting in early September, I just would get up every morning and go on like a 10, 20, 30-minute walk, depending on how much time I had, and just like the mindfulness practice there. Highly recommend getting outside. In October, I was even more leaned into the goals that I set for this year and had my first solo shoot, which was really fun. I'll insert some pics from that there. I also did my first ever 7 days of posting in a row. I know that might not sound like a big deal, but as a growing influencer, posting consistently is something that's important to me. And so I did my first week of posts, and of course, because I'm extra, they were all reels. So I did 7 days of video content, which was really challenging, but also really fun. And I got to just be silly, which is a kind of a change of pace from some of the other content that I was making previously. And in more influencer news, in November, I hosted my first ever giveaway. I was really scared to reach out to these brands and to talk to them about, you know, kind of putting their trust in me by allowing me to use their name and their products. And I was really pleased with the results, and just to know that 3 people are a little bit happier because they got some cool products and got to support Black-owned businesses is what I was in it for. So I was really excited to do that, and it kind of just helped me combat my imposter syndrome when it comes to this whole influencer thing. Also in November, I got engaged. Yeah. That's a pretty big life-changing event. Still feels a little surreal sometimes. And then in December, I finished out the year really focusing on the growth that I've made throughout this year. As you remember, I made 5 commitments for this year. I was really strong on like counting the percentages and totaling up all the numbers in the first half of the year. For the second half of the year, I realized I was just putting unnecessary strain on myself, while I still have been actively honoring those commitments and have them like visible for me, and I'm still, you know, maintaining them fairly well. I did fall off a little bit in December, as I normally do towards the end of the year, just because I get tired. And with a 2-week vacation, which was lovely, I was really just able to relax in a way that I haven't in a while. So I'm just really appreciative of the space that December provided me in terms of being able to decompress and get ready for 2021. With that, we are now in 2021, and that brings me to the second half of the video, my vision board process. I haven't done a vision board in God knows how long, but it was on my 30 for 30 bucket list. See, this list is a good one. So people do vision boards for a number of reasons, but typically it always boils down to being clear about the things that you want, seeing those things, and then manifesting those things. So if you ever find yourself feeling unproductive or unsure of what to do, you have some goals but you're not sure what they look like, feel like, sound like, what they could be for you, vision boarding might be something that could be helpful to you in figuring out the next steps in your life. Okay, so let's get into the process. What were the steps that I took to get into this vision boarding flow? And full transparency, this is something that took about a week to do, and it absolutely should not take you that long. I mean, it could live your life. I don't know how things like this work for you. I say all that to say, take from this what you need, leave what you don't. This is just my process that took place over about 3 or 4 days. So my very first step in this process was cleaning my space, making sure that I set up a space so that I wasn't distracted by other things I needed to do so that I could be fully into my 2021 vision. Next, I got inspiration from my favorite place, the internet. I just looked up different processes or things people do to plan for the future. And once I kind of gathered what I needed, it allowed me to hone in on what I need to focus on in order to draw what it is that I really want from 2021. That led me to my guiding questions for this process. And I kept it really simple. How do I want to feel? What do I want to experience? And who do I want to be? So I took some time, wrote down the answers to those questions, as many as I could think of in my notebook, consolidated whatever I needed to consolidate because some of the things did overlap, and I used that as my guiding list to then find my images. So once I did my little internal reflection and wrote it down in my journal, I gathered my materials. I chose to do my vision board physically, although I do think I will eventually create a digital version as well. Because I haven't done one in a while, I wanted to actually physically make mine and hold mine to be able to see it in my space. So I got some magazines, some poster paper, some tape, some glue, and some scissors. That's all you need. And then you flip on through with your guiding journal and use that to help you kind of find the images that will best align with what you're trying to get to. And if you want to get extra fancy, you can light your candles, you can put on a little playlist. I picked to vibe out to our FUBU playlist, the 4S Bias group. More to come from that. Shout out to Kat. So I wasn't going to do this at first, but I feel like it wouldn't be fair to talk about vision boards and not share what's on mine. I'm going to explain a few things that I have on my vision board for this year. First, we have jump on it. I didn't want it to be like perfectly aligned because that's not how life works. Just as a reminder to keep going, keep moving, and get ahead. I often sit on ideas for fear of the work being too much or for fear of failure. So this is just a reminder to jump on it, get it together, get moving, get going. Over here, we have Instagram influencer. I almost didn't put this on here because imposter syndrome is a bitch. So this is a reminder of who I am, an Instagram influencer. And so if that's what I say I want to be, I got to own that. So seeing that is weird, but good. Over here, we've got the power of mindfulness. I think I've mentioned this in previous videos. In 2020, got into yoga and got kind of serious about doing it regularly, and turned out to be one of the better mindfulness practices for me. And maybe I'll get more into that if y'all care about mindfulness. But the better I feel mentally, the better I feel overall. And my mentality controls my reality. So the more I practice mindfulness, the more control I have over this large noggin, the better off I'll be. Next, we have Love Was Not Canceled. So as I mentioned earlier, I did get engaged this year, but the feelings of anxiety and nervousness that come along with being engaged and thinking about planning a wedding in a pandemic is a little disheartening. So this is my reminder that we can still have love in 2021, even if it's not how we imagined it or pictured it or whatever. And then the last one I'm going to show y'all is a secure financial future, because I am where the money resides, y'all. Speak it, live it, say it. I have I have some ideas, you know, the ones I said I was gonna jump on. And well, I'm just trying to speak abundance into my future. So that's my reminder to be in my bag, be where the money resides, but you know, to also put in the work to get to that. All right, that is it for this video. Don't forget that your 2021 can be whatever you want it to be, and vision boarding may help you see that more clearly. If you enjoyed this video, you may also want to check out my blog post that goes even more in depth on the steps that I took to create my goals for 2021. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of my content. And if you want to keep up with me on the day-to-day, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at tarynallyssa. Until next time, bye-bye.